And now to our lab.
Are you ready for some incredible experiments?
I've never seen this happen before.
We're getting gross.
Ugh! We're going big.
The bones are not buckling. And dangerous.
Remember, we can only do these experiments because we're doctors.
Don't try this at home.
Today we're looking at electrical signals in your body and how they work.
Chris, I think we need a kind of secret twin handshake.
Why?
Well, it'll just be cool. Come on, shake my hand.
All right.
Ah! I tricked you! I only wanted to zap you with my hand buzzer. How clever was that?
Well, it was very, very clever, Xand. So clever, in fact, that I want to congratulate you again by shaking you by the hand.
Well... Chris, it wasn't meant to hurt.
I got you. That buzzer is rubbish and couldn't hurt anyone. Although electricity can be dangerous, did you know that your body is making its own supply of electricity? Electrical signals to and from your brain make it possible for all of us to move, think and feel. There are electrical signals running from your brain and run down your arm, in your nerves, and tell it to move. And we are going to be able to listen to them.
Exciting!
Right, now I just need to put these electrodes on you. So I'm placing the electrodes on Xand's arm because just like in your arm, he has a nerve here that runs very close to the skin, making it easy for the electrodes to pick up the electrical signals being sent by his brain. Now, I turn this up. What I want you to do is to make a fist and listen carefully. So you can hear that rumbling sound. That is the electrical signal.
Wow!
If you make a fist and hold it, for Xand to hold that fist, his brain has to send a continuous signal to the arm to keep the fist flexed. And we can't just hear the signal, you can see it too on the screen here. For this next bit, we are going to need...
a sample! Don't worry, I've got one in the cupboard of everything. Oi! Sample!
Hi, Esther. Sorry about him. Now, you're going to control Dr. Xand's hand with your brain. Are you happy to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Chris, are you sure you know what you're doing? I mean, I don't think the lab is the right place for a brain transplant. I mean, are you even a surgeon?
Xand, we are not doing a brain transplant. But Esther is going to control your hand. We're going to link up the nerves in Esther and Xand's arms by connecting the electrodes through this computer. Esther, I want you to squeeze your fist as tight as you can. And now turn your hand over, make a fist. As Esther moves her hand, Xand's hand is forced to mirror her movement.
It feels pretty weird because I'm not controlling my own hand.
Esther, how does it feel to you?
Just normal.
Esther's brain is sending electrical signals to her hand through her arm. It's that same electrical signal that's making Xand's hand move through the connected electrodes. Would you like a donut?
Oh, yes, please. Are these raspberry?
They are indeed.
My absolute favourite.
OK, Esther, you know what to do.
Ow, look, you terrible sample!
So we know that your brain is making electricity, but how does it actually send those electrical messages around the body? We're heading outside to show you. Thanks, Esther. Your body is amazing at doing thousands of things all at the same time. If you think about it, you can blink, talk, blah, 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 wave, move your knees all at once.
Blah, blah, blah.
Stop doing so many things at once.
Sorry.
Now, your brain does this by sending electrical impulses all over your body through a network of nerves. And I'm going to show you how. Xand, put this on.
Ooh, finally. I get to be the brainy one. I knew you'd come around.
Right. Now, what we have on the ground is a giant body, and we've got some giant body parts ready to move. Xand, what I want you to do then is to get all these different body parts moving all at the same time using whatever method you feel most appropriate.
Well, I think this will be pretty straightforward.
3, 2, 1, go!
Eyes start blinking, mouth start talking,
Blah, blah.
hands start waving, feet start dancing, and knees start wiggling. There you go, Chris. Ta-da! Wait, they've all stopped. Hang on a minute. Eyes blinking, mouth talking.
Blah, blah.
Hands got to keep waving. Feet dancing. Knees keep wiggling. Mouth, why have you stopped?
Blah, blah.
Speaking, waving, dancing. Chris, it's not working. I need a way of constantly communicating with everyone at once that isn't quite so exhausting.
Well, let me show you how the brain actually does it. Xand, give me the hat.
Oh?
I represent the brain, and these coloured ropes represent my network of nerves.
Wow!
Now, in your body, your brain communicates with your body parts by sending weak electrical signals as waves down the nerves. And when these reach the body parts, they know to start moving. And I can do the same thing just here by wiggling the ropes like this.
Blah, 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 blah.
Chris, this is amazing. It's much better than my method. The electricity is just a signal to tell them what to do. Well, I must say, I am very impressed.
Blah, 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 blah.
So we've shown you that your brain sends electrical signals around your body through your nerves to tell it what to do.
And we've shown you that by sending out the electrical signal as waves, your brain can get your body to do lots of different things all at the same time.
You know what, Chris? All these waves of electricity controlling a giant body, I think we might have invented a new dance craze. Forget the floss, this is Dr. Xand's electric wave. Blah, 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 blah. Come on, everybody! Blah, blah.
Today is a very exciting day for me and Dr. Xand because we're having our
Birthday party!
And as you can see, having a birthday party can be dangerous. You could burn yourself while you're baking the cake.
Not if you wear oven gloves or you buy it from the shop.
Well, you could poke someone in the eye with the end of your party hat.
Not if you're as careful as I am.
Or you could slip on the freshly washed floor whilst practicing your dance moves. Right, Xand, come on, we've got to lay out the food for the guests.
Ooh, don't mind if I do.
And remember, don't eat anything from the bowl on the left. It's got peanuts in it, and you can't eat peanuts! Xand, this could cause a severe allergic reaction. Injury alert!
Now, what should you do if someone was having a serious allergic reaction?
A, help them use their EpiPen or auto-injector pen and call 999.
B, sing them a lullaby to help them feel calm.
Or C, film them and put it on the internet. It might go viral.
The correct answer is A, help them use their EpiPen or auto-injector pen and call 999. Let's see if this lot get it right without any help from us.
Right, off you go!
Ruby and Jessie are both pretending that they're having an allergic reaction.
Quick, they need your help.
Are you right? Are you right?
Both teams get straight to work.
Because you only have eaten. What happens on peanuts? Wait.
Quite rushed and quite panicked initially.
I found this! What?
They managed to find the auto-injector pen, but they're stumbling a little bit with reading instructions properly. Our teams didn't quite get this right,
They had some good ideas.
999.
but also a few dodgy ones. Did you follow the instructions?
Let's get on the leg. Oh, yeah.
Right, let's go and find out the correct way to deal with a severe allergic reaction. Come on.
Remember, this is what to do in an emergency, but it's always best to get an adult.
We're showing you what to do using a dummy injector pen.
So let's say I'm having an allergic reaction. Chris, my lips are swelling, my tongue's swelling, I'm feeling itchy in my mouth. I'm actually finding it quite hard to breathe now, and I just feel terrible.
I've got your auto-injector pen here, so I'd read the instructions, pull off blue safety cap, hold device 10 centimeters from the outer thigh, swing and jab orange tip firmly against outer thigh and listen for the click and hold in place for 10 seconds. So that's Xand's outer thigh, so that's about 10 centimeters. 1, 2, 9, 10. And then we come out, and then it says massage area for 10 seconds. Different pens have different sets of instructions, so always read the instructions carefully.
Once you've given the medicine, you must then call 999.
Right, who wants to try it again? Me! Come on then.
Are you okay?
So, if you see someone with a rash, itchiness, swelling on their face, or having difficulties breathing, then it might be a severe allergic reaction, and you must
Find their auto-injector pen and help them to use it following the instructions. Call 999.
I Ambulance.
And remember to find out your location.
Reassure the patient until the paramedics arrive.
And if they don't have an auto-injector pen, call 999 immediately.
Really good job, everyone.
Xand, are you okay? Is your tongue itchy? Is your throat swelling up? I can get your auto-injector pen.
I don't need my auto-injector pen.
Yeah, you do. Don't be silly.
I didn't eat any peanuts. Just been eating these sweets, although I see what you mean. They do look a bit similar.
Well, that is a relief. But it's always better to check if someone needs your help. And if you have a friend or a twin brother with a severe nut allergy, it's better not to serve any nuts at all.
Stop whatever you're doing!
I wasn't doing anything.
I said stop! There's a new patient in the emergency department. Come on, let's go!
Being rushed into Sheffield Children's Hospital is 13-year-old Declan.
Looks like he's done something to his leg, Mum.
He was training, diving off a 3-metre diving board and he's missed his footing.
Declan is a gold medal winning diver. He was at the pool practicing his hurdle jump on the 3-metre diving board.
A hurdle jump? Shouldn't he be practicing that at an athletics track, not on a diving board?
It's not that sort of hurdle, Xand. It's a type of dive like this.
Is that really Declan?
Yes, it is.
Wow! Declan is amazing! So how did he end up in hospital?
Well, as Mum said, Declan lost his footing and slipped. The board hit him in the shin.
Bad board!
His leg was bruised, grazed, and not the right shape.
Ouch! Here to take a look at Declan is Dr. Rob Cornford.
We're going to organise for an X-ray of your leg, find out what the damage is to these bones, and then we'll know what we need to do next. All right?
Declan is hoping the damage isn't too bad, as he's got a big diving competition in a few weeks.
Hopefully I'll be all right by then.
Fingers crossed, Declan.
Dr. Cornford takes a look at Declan's X-ray. What's the diagnosis, Doc?
You can see this line here where the bone is broken, and you can see that there's some quite sharp fragments which look like they're really pointing out quite a long way out of line from the rest of the bone.
This is a really serious break. But the team have a plan. They put his leg in a temporary plaster cast to stop the bones moving, and then it's off for a CT scan. This will give a 3D image of his leg to help the doctors decide what to do next.
Bottom line, you will need surgery.
So with a plan of action, it's off to the ward for Declan to try and get some sleep. We'll catch up with him later to see how the surgery goes. We're both ouch and about. I'm hitting the wards with my ouch bleeper. That can be really serious.
And I'm hitting the streets to answer your medical mysteries.
Awesome!
Chris has had his first call. It's from Grace, who's had a heart operation.
Hold on a second. Grace, there you are. I got your bleep. What's the question?
What is my pacemaker for?
What's the diagnosis, Doc?
So it sounds to me like you have a case of I want to know what my pacemaker is for itis.
We need your finger on the pulse for this one.
You've had recent heart surgery, is that true?
Yeah.
Can you show us the little scar that you've got? And the pacemaker in your heart is damaged, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's called the pacemaker because it makes the pace of the heart. It's what sends an electrical signal, a bit like a clock, telling the heart when to beat. Because your heart's lost its natural pacemaker, you've been fitted with an external pulse generator. So this sends an electrical pulse through these 4 blue wires, and these are going inside Grace's body, inside her heart, and they send an electrical signal telling it when to beat. It's pretty cool, isn't it? This isn't very convenient, so what some very clever engineers have done is shrunk this down to something even smaller than my bleeper. So the doctors will do another operation to put a tiny version under Grace's skin, just about here at the front of her shoulder. I think you have earned a sticker. Okay, there we go. It was a pleasure answering your questions, so I'll see you soon, okay? Bye.
Bye.
Meanwhile, I'm out on the street and picking up the pace to answer your questions.
Dr. Xand.
Hello.
Why are fizzy drinks so bad for you?
The reason that fizzy drinks are bad for you is because a lot of them contain a lot of sugar, and fizzy drinks don't make you full. So if you drink a fizzy drink, you get loads of sugar, loads of calories, but you still feel hungry, and then you'll go and eat a big load of fish and chips, and that can make you put on weight, and that isn't healthy. But there are fizzy drinks that don't have sugar in, and those are fine. And the good thing about fizzy drinks is they really make you burp. Will, can you burp that well?
Yes.
What a roaring success!
That deserves a sticker.
Back in hospital, I've got another call.
Right, where is he?
It's from James, who's had a kidney operation.
James, I got here as quick as I could. Apparently you've got a question for me.
Why did my kidney get blocked?
Why did your kidney get blocked? That is a tough question. Did the doctors use any words that might give me a clue?
They said I had the stricture.
What's the diagnosis, Doc?
So it sounds to me, James, like you have a case of I want to know why my kidneys got blocked and then the doctor said that I had a stricturitis?
It's a tongue twister.
You had a thing called a ureteropelvic stricture. Can you say that?
No.
I mean, nor could I, really. So, James, you've got two kidneys. They're at your back, either side, and out of those kidneys come tubes called ureters that drain urine from the kidneys into the bladder. When the bladder's full, that's when you need to go for a wee. But on your left side, that tube got blocked because it had a thing called a stricture, which is a tightening in the tube that drains the urine from the bladder. And when that got blocked, your kidney swelled up and was really, really painful. So what did the doctors do?
Operation.
They gave you an operation. So the doctors put a tube inside the ureter to keep it open, and that little tube's called a stent. And now the urine can drain freely from the ureter into the bladder, and you're not in pain anymore, are you?
No.
You're all better. So, James, would you like a sticker?
Yes.
There you go. Great to see you. Bye.
Bye.
Job done for today.
Clinic closed.
And now to our lab. Are you ready for some incredible experiments?
I've never seen this happen before.
We're getting gross. We're going big.
And dangerous.
Remember, we can only do these experiments because we're doctors.
Don't try this at home. Today, we're looking at your poo.
Chris, where is it? I really need it, Chris. I've left it a little too late this time.
It's on the shelf where it always is.
Oh, great, OK. Found it. Oh. Oh. Finished! Oh. Well, wouldn't go back in there if I were you.
Well, thanks for that. Now, have you ever wondered why food enters your body in such an amazing array of colours, but it all comes out as brown poo?
I was wondering it just now, because I did an absolutely enormous...
Yes, we get the idea. Well, the answer is all to do with your red blood cells. It all begins in your bone marrow. Red bone marrow is found at the ends of the long bones in your body. This is where your red blood cells are made, and you make around 2 million of them every second. If you make 2 million red blood cells every second, that means in a day you'll make...
172 billion. Wow! That really is a large number.
They circulate around your body, travelling miles and miles in the course of their lifetimes.
And all that travelling can make your red blood cells pretty tired.
So after around 120 days, they're recycled in your spleen, an organ located under your rib cage and above the stomach.
So it's almost like your spleen acts as a kind of bouncer, checking the ages and the condition of your red blood cells before they can join in the party in the rest of your body. A bit like this.
The cupboard of everything represents your body.
It's being guarded by Xand, the spleen.
Our ouchers represent red blood cells, and the numbers on their T-shirts are their blood cell ages.
Right. I don't want to catch any cells older than 120 days trying to get into the body to party, and I don't want to get any ill cells in here either. But everyone under 120 days, you're welcome in to party in the body.
And no trying to distract me with bad dancing, Chris.
17, in you go. Nice to see you. Don't get tangled up with those heart valves. 35, you're looking good. Nice hemoglobin. 122, wait a minute! 122? You're far too old! I'm sorry, mate, but you're for recycling.
And that's what happens to old blood cells in your body. They get recycled.
75, doing a lovely job there. Your dad said they want you back in the brain by 9. 89, hang on a minute, you're injured. There are bits coming off you. In you go for recycling. And last but not least, 100, wait a minute!
126? That's far too old as well.
Get in for recycling. Honestly, it's not easy being a spleen. So what has all this got to do with your poo being brown? Well, we're going to show you. It's your recycled red blood cells that turn your poo brown as they make the journey from your spleen to the toilet. And to show you how this happens, I've created this extremely scientific model of the entire process.
Well, I hope you've thought up an appropriately scientific name, Xand.
I call him Poo Man. Just like you, Poo Man has a spleen, a liver, and a small intestine full of food like it would be in your body. So here you go, Chris. I've got a recycling bin full of old red blood cells, and you're going to tip them into the spleen. Now, when the spleen breaks down the old red blood cells, it makes a yellow chemical called bilirubin,
And that bilirubin travels from your spleen to your liver. It will later help in turning your poo brown.
Now, your liver uses the bilirubin to make a green liquid called bile. This green bile gets mixed up with the yellow bilirubin and then heads off to meet your food.
I think it's time to let the bile into the digestive tract. All this should flow into the intestines, and we'll see what happens. Are you ready?
Ready.
Oh, there we go. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, I made a mistake, Chris. I added too much bile and made Poo Man do a runny poo.
Here, no, just fish some of it out and shove it back.
Nothing to see here. Move along. Right, let's try and get a solid poo. So the bile has entered the intestine. The bile helps to digest the food. Some of it gets reabsorbed back into the body, but some of it is converted in the gut to a chemical called stercobilin. And this, mixed with the yellow bilirubin, is what makes your poo brown. And you can see that here. The poo is a nice pooey brown.
So we've shown you that your spleen filters your blood, removing any tired, worn-out red blood cells that are more than 120 days old, and recycles them.
This recycling process makes a waste material called bilirubin. When mixed with bile and mashed up with your food in your intestines, it makes your poo brown.
Oh, Chris, why did the baker have brown hands?
I don't know, why did the baker have brown hands?
Because he needed a poo. Get it? Like needed? Like a baker? I mean, that is a bit disgusting, isn't it?
It might sound ridiculous, but Zoe, who's 6 months old, and Josephine, who's 9 months old, are already brilliant in the water. In fact, humans are born with the ability to swim. No one has taught these babies to swim underwater. What they're doing is totally instinctive, and it's helped out by something going on inside them called the mammalian dive reflex.
You have this reflex too. And so do sea mammals. Like these seals. They can stay underwater for an impressive 30 minutes. Humans, though, lose this reflex by the time we're 6 months old. But some extraordinary people train themselves to use their mammalian dive reflex into adulthood. Today's brilliant body belongs to George Miller, the 6-time national freediving record holder.
Freediving is swimming deep underwater while holding your breath without any breathing equipment. George's body can do this because she's trained for 11 years. So prepare to be amazed, but please leave this kind of diving to the experts.
How long can you hold your breath for?
I can hold my breath for a little bit over 7 minutes.
That is completely crazy. Do you think you could get me close to 7 minutes?
Eventually, maybe not today, but we can definitely improve you.
OK, fantastic.
We're going to see how long you can hold your breath for.
OK.
This will give George an idea of how well Xand uses his lungs to breathe.
You did 1 minute 27, which is amazing for the first time.
Impressive, Xand.
I'm quite pleased with myself about that.
I think we can do better.
Really?
Yes. Freedivers learn how to use something that we call a 3-part breath, or a diaphragmatic breath. So if you put one hand on your tummy and one hand on your chest, the first part of the breath comes from the belly. And then the chest. and then just let it all fall out. So hold your breath.
The trick is to use your diaphragm, the muscle under the lungs, to take in as much air as possible before you hold your breath.
You did 2:17.
Really?
That's amazing.
So that's almost a minute more.
Yeah.
So Xand's got the breathing technique down. Now he needs to do it while freediving underwater.
Now, safety is the most important thing, and I can only do this because I'm surrounded by professionals.
So never ever practice on your own, even in the bath.
Before he goes underwater, Xand uses George's deep breathing technique. His mammalian dive reflex is triggered once his face touches the water.
How long was I under for?
You were down there for 30 seconds.
But for that 30 seconds, I was like a seal.
Xand held his breath longer on land because when swimming in water, his muscles needed oxygen. But practice makes perfect.
Okay, here we go.
Instinctively, Xand's body knows he's not breathing, so it prioritizes sending blood to his brain and his heart. This allows him to swim even deeper. Amazing work, Xand.
Dive 2 was a massive improvement. 7 meters down, 41 seconds. The most amazing thing about today is that what George has been able to show me is that my body is capable of doing things that I had no idea it could. And that's all thanks to the mammalian diving reflex.
Time to go to the emergency department.
Let's go!
To see our next patient, and it's this way, Xand.
Sorry.
In the emergency department, 11-year-old Tatenda is waiting with his mum.
Why are you here, fella?
I woke up yesterday morning and my wrist was really hurting.
Sports-mad Tatenda thinks he hurt his wrist while perfecting his football moves in the back garden, when he slipped, fell backwards and landed right on it. Ouch!
Stop right there, Chris, and rewind! Because Tatenda's mum says it wasn't his fancy footwork, but his fast finger action which caused the injury.
Impressive skills.
Mum says Tatenda sometimes spends a whopping 4 hours a day gaming, and she thinks that's how he strained the muscles in his arm.
Ooh, that's not great. Ouch! Let's see if Dr. Rachel Evans can sort this argument out.
When I'm pushing there, where does it hurt?
Around here.
Oh, pop it. Should we take a picture of your hand?
Good idea, Doc. So it's over to X-ray. What's the result?
Do you know what this is?
It's my wrist.
It's your wrist.
And if you can see, all around the bone is really nice and smooth, so there's no breaks.
I think he's been spending a bit of time on his tablet. Repetitive strain injury.
Mum thinks the hours Tatenda spends tapping away on his tablet have caused a repetitive strain injury.
This means that inside Tatenda's hand, the muscles, nerves, and tendons have got really sore from making the same movement again and again and again.
It's definitely damage to some soft tissue. It'll get better by itself, but the #1 treatment is rest from your tablet.
And that's about 3 weeks of no gaming, fella. Ouch!
An ordinary department store.
With an ordinary mum buying some clothes for her daughter.
But why is she buying 4 of everything? That seems a bit much. Whoa, she's multiplied! Meet Georgie, Jessica, Ellie and Holly. And as you might have guessed, they are identical quads, 4 of a kind.
When they were born, I couldn't tell them apart, so I drew their initials on their feet with a marker pen.
Well, that's one way to tell them apart. So what's it like being a quad?
I like having my 3 sisters because I like to play with them and have fun with them.
What do you think, Georgie?
I love it.
Is it always good? Is there a downside?
They're great, but sometimes they're not.
Holly?
I can't believe that we had quads.
Ellie, Jess, Holly and Georgie are genetically the same person, just like me and Chris, which means they have the same blood type, the same hair colour, and even the same DNA.
What do you think of that, Holly?
But how did that happen? The quads all came along from the same egg. Normally, one egg grows into a baby, but with the quads, the one egg split first into two, and then those eggs split into 4 separate babies.
But how does Mum tell them apart?
You know, their facial features are slightly different, and then as they develop, their personalities are slightly different.
While Georgie likes eating all kinds of different foods,
Ellie is a dancer,
Jessica is always reading storybooks,
and Holly is an artist.
When other people get to meet them, they don't see it straight away, but once you get to know them, you can see that they are quite different.
Now that's amazing. And now to our lab. Are you ready for some incredible experiments?
Stand aside, Chris.
We're getting gross.
We're going big.
The bones are not buckling. And dangerous.
Remember, we can only do these experiments because we're doctors.
Don't try this at home.
Today, we're exploring being squeamish.
Xand, we are getting a lot of messages from grown-ups about some of our squeamish bits. Listen to this one. Dear Dr. Chris and Dr. Xand, why is your programme so disgusting? My children love it, but I have to watch through my fingers. Please, could you make it less gross? Xand, what have I said about eating in the lab? What are you watching?
These are our grossest moments. They're my favourite.
I love the gross bits too, but they do make some people feel a bit squeamish. Now, feeling squeamish is a basic and important emotion. There are some things that turn almost everyone's tummies. Maggots, dog poo,
Dried sick on a pavement. A bogey smeared on the edge of a sink.
But did you know that this is something that you learn and it develops as you get older? Babies, for example, aren't squeamish at all.
Well, to put this idea to the test, we're going to need a baby. Give me one moment, Chris. Here you go, Chris. One baby.
Xand, this is my baby. This is Lyra, your niece.
Whatever. And we're going to need some of the most disgusting things we can think of. First up, worms. Here you go, here's some yummy worms. What do you think of that? Look at that.
This is not a baby that's disgusted by a worm, is it?
Fair enough. Next up, maggots.
This is really disgusting. Look at the move. She's got one in her hand. I mean, that is not a disgusted baby, is it?
Right, if worms and maggots don't make you feel squeamish, Lyra, I'm going to pull out all the stops with this next thing.
Let's see if Lyra is disgusted by Rose. What do you think of Rose?
Lyra seems very, very unbothered by Rose, and she's not bothered by the most disgusting thing of all, Dr. Xand's beard and bogies.
Not disgusted by anything.
No, he's not Dada, I'm Dada. So all of those things might have made you feel a bit squeamish, but Lyra isn't reacting because she doesn't know how to feel squeamish. It's only as you get older and learn more about the world around you that you start to develop these feelings of squeamishness, usually about the same things that the adults around you don't like.
So we're going to put this to the test and see what happens when you are truly grossed out. Thank you, Lyra. I think you're done. It's time to bring on some older guests who are cordially invited to our disgusting dinner. Welcome to the Ouch Disgusting Dining Experience.
Joining us are Lennon, Kitty and James.
3 lucky ouchers.
We are going to be serving a meal of delightfully disgusting dishes. Whilst they eat, we will monitor their faces and heart rates so we can find out what feeling squeamish does to the body.
Right, grubs up.
3, 2, 1,
et voila.
Ta-da! On the menu today, jellied eels, crickets, mapani worms, fish eggs, stinky blue cheese, and a giant Thai water bug. This food is totally safe. We expect empty plates at the end of the meal.
I don't know. Are those flies? Is that eggs?
Those are fish eggs, yeah.
Oh!
Now, Kitty's prepared a little spoonful of fish eggs and cooked crickets. So why don't you have a go at that?
Looking at someone else eating it is like you're eating it.
Our Ouchers have all been making yuck faces. Their noses and foreheads wrinkled, they stuck out their tongues. This signals you're feeling disgusted and warns other people not to touch what's there.
What is that?
They made the yuck face because they have learnt that some things can be harmful, unlike Lyra, who hasn't learnt this yet.
James is going to eat the water bug. Are you going to do it, James?
Look how disgusting it is!
James's pulse rate was 66, it's now 82. So even the thought of putting this into your mouth has started to make James's body prepare. He's having this thing called a fight or flight response.
Your squeamish response is very similar to feeling afraid. Your heart rate increases, so you're ready to run away from whatever might be harmful.
How's it going?
Good.
It's good. I don't believe you. Because you're making your yuck face. You're squinting your eyes.
Dessert time. Will our chocolate-covered mealworms and worm lollies also make our Ouchers feel squeamish?
Kitty, you're eating the chocolate with the mealworms on it. That's not bothering you?
No.
After our disgusting main course, sweets with a few insects don't seem so bad. Our Ouchers learned from each other that they could try different things. So because they saw each other eating bugs, their squeamish feelings decreased because they learnt the food wasn't harmful.
Who's had this?
Lennon's been licking that. Kitty, you'll eat the chocolate with the maggots, but you won't have the lollipop that Lennon's licked.
Yeah.
Why do you think you won't do that?
His germs are on it.
So that's an important point, is that there are some things that almost everyone is disgusted by. Poo and body fluids, particularly.
Some things are more likely to make you squeamish if they smell strong or they're unfamiliar.
But it's good to challenge it sometimes so you don't miss out on fun experiences like eating lollipops with worms in them.
So we've shown you that squeamish feelings are a defense mechanism that you learn as you get older.
And that your body's response is a lot like fear, increasing your heart rate, putting you into fight or flight mode.
You know, Xand, I feel quite inspired by our Ouchers today, and it occurred to me that us adopting an insect-based diet would be both environmentally sound and ethically responsible.
I quite agree, Chris. In fact, I've got a delicious Mapani worm right here ready to go.
Well, I'm delighted to hear it. Here's to our new lifestyle.
Meet Rio, Emilia, Phoebe and Alicia.
We're following them across this series as they let us know what it's like to be a regular hospital outpatient.
Say hi to 10-year-old Alicia.
Hi.
Alicia has recently been diagnosed with inflammatory bowel disease, or IBD.
Inside of my gut, everything is inflamed, and because of this, sometimes I have sharp stomach pains, I feel sick, and have to go to the toilet quite a lot.
Another symptom of IBD is extreme tiredness.
Before I used to always walk to school, and now I can't do that since I get very tired, so I have to take the bus.
After school, Alicia loves getting out and about on her bike.
Cycling's really fun.
But unfortunately, since being diagnosed with IBD, Alicia hasn't been able to ride it as much.
I get really tired very quickly and you have to come inside.
Luckily, she has plenty of other activities.
And who's this furry friend?
Kitty is my kitten, who's 4 months old. My mum got her for me because I wasn't going outside as much and I got quite bored inside. Oh, this is the hoop trick.
Wow, I've never been able to teach Chris the hoop trick.
Alicia's only recently been diagnosed with IBD, so her doctors are still monitoring her progress closely and working out what will help relieve her symptoms.
My doctor arranged an appointment with a dietitian, so it's going to be a really exciting but nervous experience for me at the same time. I call this feeling nervous-sighted.
Ooh, new word.
See you next time, Alicia.
Bye!
Bye!
One of our favourite hobbies is golf. And I must say, Chris, we're getting pretty good at it. But, like all outdoor sports arenas, the golf course can be a place of danger. You could forget to tie your shoelaces and trip over them. You could hurt your back carrying my clubs around. Or you could be hit on the head by a rogue golf ball. Xand, duck! Right, it's my turn to tee off.
And just to be safe, I'm going to get well back.
There's no need to go that far away.
Chris? Chris? Uh-oh, Dr. Chris has collapsed and he's not responding. Injury alert!
So what should you do if someone is unresponsive and not breathing? A. Take a selfie with them while they can't refuse.
B. Lie down next to them and have a little nap.
Or C. Call 999, find an adult and tell them how to do chest compressions and then get an AED or defibrillator.
The correct answer is C. Call 999. Find an adult and tell them how to do chest compressions and then get an AED or defibrillator. But will this lot get it right with no training?
Are you ready? Yeah! Off you go!
AJ and Hanitha are both pretending that they've had an accident and are unresponsive and not breathing.
Quick, guys, they need your help.
Okay, you got a phone?
999. We need you to come to this location straight away.
Or calling an ambulance is a great start.
I can't feel it. Start the compressions. 1.
They've got into doing chest compressions, but actually they're just squishing his stomach. They're not doing them in the right place at all.
Our teams didn't quite get this right.
Some ideas were spot on, like Farouk's.
I searched to see if she had a phone on her so we could call the ambulance.
Others just missed the mark.
Tell me about the chest compressions.
I don't think I did it next to his chest. I was doing it near his stomach.
Let's show you how it should be done with the help of Jeff, our first aid dummy.
Right, can you see if he's responsive?
Jeff?
Remember, we're showing you what to do in an emergency, but it's always best to get an adult.
I'm shaking him gently, but he's not saying anything. What should I do next?
Can you check if he's breathing?
Yep.
Put your ear down next to his mouth, tilt his head back. Can you feel any breaths at all on your ear?
No, I can't feel any and I can't hear anything.
We need to call 999.
Okay, I've got a phone here. So you call 999, give the patient's problem, give your location, and the ambulance service will tell you to start doing chest compressions.
Put the heel of your hand in the middle of his chest and start pushing down at that speed.
Twice every second.
To do chest compressions, you need a grown-up because it's hard work and requires the stronger power of an adult for it to be effective.
So Chris is now doing chest compressions. I need to go and find an AED or defibrillator.
An AED, or automated external defibrillator, can be spotted in schools and public places like sports centres.
Now, all AEDs have instructions on them.
It's a machine which delivers an electric shock to the heart.
Pull green tab to remove pads.
There are the pads.
Peel pads from liner. Press pads firmly to patient's bare skin.
Okay, and now you need to move back because I'm going to give a shock. Can you stand back?
Jeff isn't responding because he's a dummy, but at the touch of a button, the defibrillator tries to give the heart a kickstart.
This machine will talk you through everything you need to do, so the most important thing is to stay calm and listen to the instructions. Do you want to have a go?
Yeah!
Brilliant.
So, if you see someone who's unresponsive and not breathing, call 999, remember you'll need to know your location,
then tell an adult how to do chest compressions,
and finally, if available, find a defibrillator and follow its voice prompts.
Good work, guys.
Chris, are you breathing?
Oh, yes, I am. I just winded myself.
You winded yourself? Is that it?
Well, yes, but it was quite a shock at the time.
I thought it was some kind of emergency. Well, it's always better to check. I wonder if we should play something else. I've got this basketball with me.
Okay, all right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Winded again.
Xand, what are you doing? I'm putting my facial muscles to the test by pulling as many facial expressions as possible.
Well, you want to be careful. I mean, you know what they say, Xand, if the wind changes, you could be stuck like that.
That, Chris, is just an old-fashioned expression.
Time for investigation, ouch.
You don't just communicate with the people around you by talking. The majority of your feelings are revealed by your facial expressions.
When you experience any emotion, it is involuntarily expressed on your face by changes in your 43 different facial muscles.
Unbelievably, the human face can make over 10,000 expressions.
We learn to read different facial expressions as early as when we're babies. And if you look at these cards, it's easy to tell whether the person is happy, sad, surprised, angry, or... Whoops, didn't mean to include that one.
Thanks, Xand.
For the majority of people, working out how a person is feeling is second nature. See how quick this lot are.
What do you think this man is feeling?
Happy.
Happy?
I think he's happy.
Spot on, everyone.
What about this person?
Sad. Sad. Sad.
Well, they're brilliant at this.
However, not everyone can suss out emotions this easily. Autism spectrum disorder, or autism for short, is a condition where people find it hard to communicate. And one of the reasons why is that they can't understand different facial expressions.
So how does it feel when you have difficulty understanding other people's facial expressions?
Well, to put it to the test, I've jumbled up my face to make a very odd expression. Let's see what happens.
Confused or angry?
Upset.
Weird.
Everyone was unable to work out what the expression meant, and it left them feeling confused and frustrated.
This is how people on the autism spectrum can feel a lot of the time.
Fortunately, there's someone who might be able to help.
Meet Zeno. He's a humanoid robot with a computer for brains, but he's capable of pulling a range of facial expressions.
We've come to a school which specialises in helping children with autism.
Meet Dr. Alyssa from the UCL Institute of Education.
She's working on the De-Enigma Autism Project, and she's Zeno's BFF.
We've been using Zeno with children with autism to help them start to learn about different facial expressions.
And what facial expressions can Zeno pull?
First one is his happy face. Can also do a good sad face. And he can be angry. And he can be scared. Having a good understanding of the happy, sad, angry, and scared, that's a really important tool for successful social interaction with other people in everyday life.
In working with a robot, children with autism like Kyron, Harry, and Maxie can learn to understand different looks.
Is angry, sad face.
Without the awkwardness of practicing with a real person.
Happy face.
Unlike a human, Zeno doesn't get offended if you get it wrong. And he doesn't mind doing the same look over and over.
Practice makes perfect.
Don't cry.
And it's not all about recognising Zeno's expressions. These guys are learning to pull the faces themselves.
Can you show me your scared face?
Over time, this will help them know what to do when they're around people in daily life.
The kids just really light up when they see Zeno. He's just kind of nice to be around.
And he loves a party.
Well, a dance. I like a bit of a dance at the end of the day.
Ouch. Today is about cells, and I'm using this modelling clay to...
Xand, what are you doing? Well, I thought I'd take the opportunity to make some new creatures for my new aquarium since the last one didn't go so well.
Well, that is an understatement. You flooded the entire lab. So we did agree, no more aquariums.
Well, I didn't agree.
Your body is made up of trillions of cells, and it makes new cells when old cells divide in half. This is a process called mitosis, and this happens to millions of cells around your body every second.
Now, mitosis works like this. Chris, show me a new cell. Now, this cell will grow bigger and bigger while it makes a copy of all its contents, including its DNA. Then it checks everything is in order, and if it is, it splits itself in half, making 2 new cells. And then the cycle begins again, producing 4 cells, then 8 cells, then 16 cells, then 32, 64, 128, then 256, then 512.
Done. I think everyone gets the idea. This is what real mitosis looks like, sped up.
Watch this cell as it splits in 2.
This is how lots of your body parts grow.
But how do your bones get bigger? After all, they're mostly made of a mineral a bit like rock, and rocks don't divide. Xand, to understand this, we need a bone. 1 human bone coming up. Chris, we've got a few in here. What size are you looking for?
I don't know, something about that long, a humerus maybe?
Come on out, humerus. Come on, come with me. That's good. Now stand there next to Dr. Chris. Right, Dr. Chris, meet humerus. Humerus, meet Dr. Chris.
Xand, this isn't humerus, this is Esther. Hi, Esther.
Hi, Chris.
Esther has broken her collarbone. How did you do that?
My brother pushed me off a mini bike.
Ouch! Is he in trouble?
Yes.
Good. Now, moving on from the collarbone, we can now see the humerus. That's the arm bone. At the top of the humerus is the growth plate. It's made of a soft, squishy material, and there are cells there that produce cartilage. The cartilage then hardens up and turns into bone that's added in layers, and that is how your bones grow.
Chris and my bones are not still growing, but Esther's are, and so are yours. Once you get to be an adult, your growth plates close up.
Esther, thank you very much for coming into our lab and showing us your amazing arm X-ray.
All right, humerus, back to the cupboard. Go on, off you go. Do you know, Chris, I've been thinking, why does it take so long to grow? I mean, waiting to get taller is just so boring.
Well, that is a great question, Xand. Let's find out. To show you why your bones take years to grow and make you taller, Xand and I are going to make some bones. One femur each, to be precise.
The leg bone.
We'll both be using this plaster putty to represent the cartilage cells in the growth plate. It's not real bone, but it will set hard like the cartilage in your body. I'm going to be making my bone the natural way.
I'm going to be making my bone the much more fun and quick way. I'm calling it the all-in-one, one-stop shop overnight bone-making method.
Catchy.
I thought so. OK, Chris, are you ready?
I am ready.
I'm chucking all mine in this plastic tube to make the bone in one go. I'll be done in no time.
No plastic tubes for me, Xand. I'm trying to be as true to how our bodies build bones in real life as I can. So I'm drying each layer, making it set firm before adding another.
Well, I must say, my one-stop bone shop overnight method is really working out well. I'm getting a bit bored with how long this is taking you. I'm going to go and find something else to do.
I can't believe Xand thinks his bone is finished. This takes time. So this is a bit more like what happens in your body. The growth plate lays soft cartilage down on the top of the bone shaft. That cartilage then gradually is turned into bone and becomes hard.
Oh, come on, Chris. We've got to finish here. I mean, that's growing about as fast as real humans.
Xand, that is the whole point. I may not have made much, but this is almost as strong as real bone. Are you honestly telling me that this femur that you have made has the required structural stability?
I absolutely am. Oh, no! Oh, no, it's all going wrong!
Xand's bone is all floppy and hasn't set. If this was a real person, it would be a very weak femur, and they'd be flopping about on the ground.
What a disaster.
So we've shown you that the cells in your body multiply by a process called mitosis. This and the special growth plates at the end of your long bones help you grow.
And we've shown you that growing bones has to take time. Otherwise, you'd end up with floppy, soft ones. Well, I must say, Xand, this is a much more responsible sea life diorama. No aquarium and no risk of flooding. I'll see you in the morning.
Right. Swim time, everybody! In the emergency department, our next patient has had an unusual accident.
Luckily, she's in the right place to get it sorted.
For you.
For you?
For you!
Don't be silly. Waiting in A&E is 4-year-old Bella Rose.
I've got a sore hip.
A sore hip? How has she managed that?
You're going to love this one, Xand. Bella Rose was hanging out with her 9-year-old cousin Connor.
Sounds cool. Was she playing football?
No, she was dancing.
Doing the robot?
No, Xand.
It must have been Gangnam Style.
No, Xand, she was break-dancing, doing the worm.
The worm?
Yes, Bella Rose was such a wiggly worm that she banged her side and hurt her hip.
Ouch!
Oopsie.
Oopsie indeed.
She never cried or anything after. It was the next day. Just to be on the safe side, we always get her checked out because she's got a condition called brittle bone disease, so she's more prone to fractures.
Brittle bone disease, or osteogenesis imperfecta, means Bella Rose's bones are very fragile.
When you're born, your bones develop and grow when a protein called collagen is made by your body. Collagen gives your bones strength.
But sometimes not enough collagen is made, and this means bones are weaker and can break more easily, which is what can happen to Bella Rose.
Dr. Colin Wong is on hand to investigate.
Can you bend your hip? Oh, well done. I'm just going to turn it, and if it's sore, you let me know, okay, darling? I was just gently moving her leg to try and see where she was most sore. If I press it there, is that sore? Ticklish, right.
Bella had an X-ray when she first arrived at hospital. Dr. Wong takes a look.
This is the thigh bone, which has got a pin in it. It seems to be a nice straight line. If we look on this side, we can see that the nice straight line has gone. It looks as though she's got a fracture in her left hip. And the question is it an older injury or is it one that she's done whilst dancing with her cousin last night?
To find out, Dr. Colin rings Bella Rose's regular doctor.
While waiting, she does what all poorly people do.
Nice moves, Bella Rose.
I've spoken with the bone doctor at Sheffield Children's Hospital, and she said the injury is an old one.
Good news, it isn't broken again.
I think it's just a passing pain. Hopefully we'll be all right tonight. You take care, missus. Easy on the dancing.
I'm going to keep on dancing.
Good for you.
Bye-bye, Bella Rose.
Ready to see some amazing stuff?
Yes!
We're going to show you where you began. Just don't try anything you see here at home.
In this lab, you'll see a very special human organ, but it's not for the squeamish.
Today, we're looking at how babies grow.
Right, here you go, Chris. You can get a nice close look at my belly button with that.
Whoa, I think I've missed something. Why on earth would I, or anyone, want to look at your belly button?
Well, I thought we were looking at how babies grow.
Yes, but what's that got to do with your... hold on. I see where you're going with this.
Exactly. Because did you know that your belly button used to be your mouth and your bum?
OK, yes, that's true. But we still don't need to look at your belly button, Xand, because I've got something much more impressive. Take a look at this.
Whoa! That is much more impressive than my belly button, because this is a real human placenta and umbilical cord. These amazing organs are what keep a baby alive and able to grow inside its mum.
The placenta's job is to absorb oxygen and vital nutrients from the mum's blood and deliver them to the baby via the umbilical cord.
As well as this, the umbilical cord also carries waste products, that's wee poo and carbon dioxide, away from the baby, down the umbilical cord and through the placenta into mum's body for her to get rid of.
Now, once you're born, you don't need these anymore, which is why we have these to show you. They've been kindly donated to us by a mum who's given birth to her baby, and she's happy for us to show them to you, which is pretty special.
This placenta is absolutely amazing. But you know, I've always said that there's really only one thing better than a real human placenta, and that is a double human placenta from twins.
Wow, this must have been what our placenta looked like when we were inside our mum.
Absolutely.
This has also kindly been donated by the mum of twins.
So what you can see here is 2 placentas and 2 umbilical cords. After you're born, the cord gets snipped off, leaving you with your belly button. But until then, this cord is your lifeline.
But what does a baby look like when it's actually inside its mum? We're going to show you.
And what we've got here is a real live baby.
Xand, this isn't a baby, this is Amelia, and she's a grown-up.
That's true. Thanks very much for coming into the lab, Amelia.
Thanks,
but
Amelia.
Actually, inside Amelia is a real live baby. And ordinarily, of course, we couldn't show you that baby, but we have this ultrasound scanner.
So, Amelia, are you having a boy or a girl?
A boy.
A boy. Amelia, how many weeks pregnant are you?
29 weeks.
At this stage, a baby's organs are developed. Just here, what you can see beating is Amelia's baby's heart.
Wow, amazing!
The white things here are his bones, so that's his backbone. Very clearly, you can see that there. Surrounding the baby
these big black patches are liquid. And that's because the baby's sitting in a thing called the amniotic sac. So it's sitting in a big sac full of fluid. That protects it from bumps and from infections.
At the moment, his eyes have started to work, his heart and all his organs are working normally. The one massive difference between being inside Amelia and being out in the world is that this little boy is breathing entirely through his umbilical cord, through his belly button. But what we really want to know is, what does he look like? So we've been able to do a 4D scan.
4D scans provide an incredible lifelike image of the baby inside the womb. You can see his eyes, his nose, and his little mouth.
Amelia, what do you think?
It's amazing. He looks like his dad, but with my nose.
And there's another really nice thing here. He has found another use for his placenta, because as well as giving him all his oxygen and nutrients, he's also using it as a pillow. So I think you've got a very resourceful young man in there.
Amelia, thank you so much for letting us meet him.
Thanks very much.
No problem.
We've shown you the incredible organs that keep you alive and enable you to grow before you're born inside your mum. The placenta and the umbilical cord bring nutrients and oxygen and take away waste, everything a baby needs.
So the next time you're looking at your belly button, remember, it used to be your mouth and your bum.
And personally, I think it makes a rather good nose.
Since Amelia visited us, she's had a baby boy called Antonio John. Oh, cute! Congratulations, Amelia and Dad Damien. What is puberty?
Think of it like this. You've been growing since the moment you were born, and it's what turned you from a little baby into a child.
But pretty soon, you need to go from being a child into being an adult, or else the world would be full of children. And this is where puberty comes in. It's basically just another phase of growing.
And it's completely normal.
You might have already noticed changes in your body, or perhaps you haven't, because everyone is different. Usually it begins any time from the age of 8, carrying right through to the age of 18.
In this special operation out, we've got loads to show you about what happens to your body.
On the inside and the outside.
One thing that changes when you hit puberty is your sweat, and we're going to show you why.
Does anybody want to smell my armpits? Do you want to smell my armpits? Free sweat smelling here. Can I tempt you? A little whiff? Anyone? Anyone? Don't seem to be having much luck for some reason.
Sweat. It might seem a bit yucky, but everybody does it. Sweating is what your body does when you get too hot. And when that sweat evaporates, it takes heat away from your body and prevents your internal organs from overheating. So it's actually pretty wonderful stuff. I'm not sure why nobody wants to smell mine. There are two types of sweat glands, eccrine and apocrine. Eccrine are the most common. You have over 2 million of them all over your body. Apocrine glands are only in particular places like your groin and under your arms. They produce a different type of sweat that is rich in protein and fatty acids. They only become active during, you guessed it, puberty.
When your apocrine glands start working, it changes how you sweat.
And this lot are going to help me show you what that means. First, we're going to need a sample. In fact, 2 samples. One sample is made up of a group of 8-year-olds who haven't started puberty yet. The other sample is made up of 14-year-olds who are slap bang in the middle of it.
And what I need from all of you now is sweat. Are you ready? Yeah! Right, let's go.
For the next half hour, I'm getting both squads to train as hard as they can and sweat as much as possible.
What we're looking for here is real work. It's not a race between the two teams. We want quality, because quality means sweat. Ben, you sweating yet?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's good.
After 30 minutes, I'm satisfied that both teams will have sweated enough. It's time to collect all the sweaty shirts into separate bags.
Now, we've got our samples. The squads don't know which shirts are in which bag, so let's see which smells worse. One at a time, you're going to smell each bag and tell me which you think smells worse.
Bag A is from the younger team and bag B is from the teenagers. Which one do you think will smell worse?
Get right in there.
That one.
Is it really disgusting? Huh.
That one.
What does this one smell of?
Like of vinegar. I say this one.
You think that one smells worse?
This one.
And what do you think this one smells of?
Rotten cheese.
Rotten cheese.
Oh, that one.
Do you think this is your team? Or do you think the 8-year-olds are smellier than you?
Yeah.
Big breath in, Ben. Really?
I smell my own armpits when they stink.
So which of you thought that bag B was the smelliest? Yeah, all except 2. That's 12-2 to bag B. Now, this was the bag from the older ones. So I think you're absolutely right. This definitely should have been the smelliest one. Now, do you know why?
Because they're older.
Because they're older, that's right. And when you get older, you get different kinds of sweat glands. They're called apocrine glands. They make different sorts of sweat. It's got more chemicals in, which gets broken down by bacteria. So what you're really smelling in here is bacteria poo. There you go. You're the one smelling it, not me. I haven't smelled it.
Smell it! Smell it!
Oh, no! Oh!
Remember, all sweat is completely normal, even the smelly variety, and you can make sure you don't stay smelly by washing yourself and your clothes regularly.
Speaking of washing, guys, you better not forget to wash all your kits. Guys? Guys?
Get ready to change shape. Not like that. We're talking growth spurts. Hormones kick in, telling your body to get taller.
Boys get broader.
Girls get breasts.
And it can all be a bit annoying if you grow out of your favourite outfit too quickly.
But don't panic. It's exciting too. You also get stronger. Maybe not that strong.
Nice bust though. But remember, it's all completely normal. And it could be a whole lot worse. If you were a baboon, puberty would suddenly give you a giant red bottom.
As part of today's special show, we're looking at hormones.
Just don't try anything you see here at home.
It's Chris. Can I have a biscuit? I don't want one of your disgusting pocket digestives. Okay, fair enough. I'd like a custard cream. Well, I don't know where he keeps his custard creams. He hides them from me. They're on the desk in front of you. Oh, yeah, here they are. I've counted them. Can you write them down in the custard cream logbook so I can keep track? Chris, why are you sending me all these ridiculous text messages? I'm trying to work.
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Xand. It's not just because I want those custard creams, although I do want them. You've written them in the logbook now. It's because today's lab is all about hormones, and like texts, hormones are messages, but they're chemical ones sent around your body. You can't control them any more than Xand could control the number of texts I was sending him. You have hormones from the moment you're born, telling the different cells in your body what to do. Your pancreas makes the hormone insulin to control sugar levels in your blood.
And your adrenal glands produce the hormone adrenaline when you're excited or scared, preparing your body for immediate action.
And then there's your pituitary gland in your brain. And to show you what that looks like, I've actually got a real sheep's brain in my hand. Now, the first thing you'll notice is it's much smaller than a human brain.
And that's probably why sheep are less intelligent than human beings.
Chris, there might be sheep watching.
It doesn't matter, they're sheep. They won't understand what I just said.
All right. Well, I've cut it in half so you can see right here at the base of the brain is the pituitary gland.
Now take a look at this MRI scan of my actual brain. And there's my pituitary gland right there. Now it may be small, but it has a big job to do because it's the pituitary gland that controls most of the hormones in your body.
But when you reach puberty, your hormones go into supercharge mode. They spring into action like never before, and they're responsible for all the changes that take place during puberty.
And one of these changes occurs in the voice box, the organ which allows you to speak.
And we're going to show you what it looks like.
Now this is the larynx, or the voice box of a young pig. Your voice box is in your throat. It's the tough, rubbery bit here on your neck.
Now, I also have a pig's larynx, except that mine is bigger than Chris's, and that's because it's from an adult pig. Now, one of these two larynxes will have a deeper sound than the other, but which one do you think it's going to be?
The bellows are acting like your lungs, sending air past the vocal cords, which you can see here. And they make a sound when they vibrate.
Compare the sound of this smaller larynx to the sound of the larger one. Can you hear the sound of the larger one is deeper than the smaller one?
This change in sound is known as your voice breaking, and it happens to both boys and girls.
Now, when you go through puberty, those hormones controlled by your pituitary gland tell your larynx to grow bigger, and that makes your voice get deeper.
So, we've shown you that hormones are messages telling your body what to do. When you start puberty, your hormones become more active, telling you to grow into an adult.
And remember, hormones are what make your voice break, only nothing's breaking at all. Your larynx actually gets bigger, and that makes your voice deeper.
But whether you're a boy or a girl, don't panic, because it doesn't hurt at all.
It's all completely normal.
It's definitely more obvious for us boys because our larynxes grow more than girls, and so it pushes this bit out.
It's called your Adam's apple.
Ow, why don't you poke your own Adam's apple?
It's more fun poking yours.
Stop it, it's really annoying.
Really annoying, like sending somebody loads of text messages. Stop poking my Adam's apple. How'd he do that?
Get ready to get hairy. Okay, not that hairy. And don't worry, it's all completely normal. It happens to every mammal on the planet.
Boys, you'll get hair on your face, and everyone gets new hair on their legs and armpits and between their legs. That's called pubic hair. In the animal world, getting hairy is the best way to attract a mate because it holds on to smelly sweat, which is apparently very enticing.
But us humans have moved on a bit since we were apes. So we don't need it. Some people keep it, some remove it. It's up to you.
And now to our lab, where we put our bodies to the test to show you how your body works.
That really hurt.
Just don't try anything like this at home. Today, it's travel sickness. Now don't worry, Xand's not attempting to dance. He's spinning on the spot, but it is for a reason.
Inside his inner ear, Xand's got tubes full of fluid that send information to his brain about balance and movement.
And when I stop, the fluid keeps moving.
And this fools his brain into thinking he's still moving.
With the fluid in Xand's ears telling him he's moving, but his eyes telling him he's still, his brain is totally confused. And the result?
I feel a bit sick.
If you feel sick in a car, that's because your brain is confused too. As you travel, your eyes notice everything passing by quickly and tell your brain you're moving. But because you're sitting still in the car, your ears think you're not moving at all. And these mixed messages don't just happen in cars.
But I'm about to take travel sickness to another level.
This aerial display team specialises in aerobatic moves that will be way more confusing for Chris's brain than when I turned on the spot or you travel in a car.
Do I have to do this?
Yes, Chris, you do. Meet Mark Cutmore. He's the pilot who's going to take Chris up for a spin. You might think it's an odd time for a spot of lunch, but that sarnie should help to settle his stomach for the flight ahead.
I just wonder if I'm going to be seeing the tuna and mayonnaise sandwich again over the cockpit window in a few minutes.
We'll soon find out. Safety gear on, it's time for Chris to take his seat.
Sick bag.
We call it a comfort bag.
Comfort bag.
Come on, Chris, up you go. And they're off. Chris is travelling at speeds of up to 250 miles per hour, and so far, he seems to be doing okay. But let's bring on the crazy moves and see how he copes once his eyes and ears start confusing his brain.
This is a very unpleasant sensation. Human beings are not meant to be upside down. Yeah, upset in my stomach. The tuna sandwich! It will stay down.
Now, in a situation like this, clearly Chris's eyes can see he is moving, and the fluid in his ears is moving too. So why does he feel sick?
Oh, wow, I have no idea what's going on.
Well, there are so many different movements happening at such high speed. His eyes and ears are failing to send the same messages at the same time to his brain. They're out of time with each other, and that's why he feels sick.
Uh-oh. As we touched down, I was definitely feeling the tuna sandwich returning. for revenge. I mean, at the end, I did feel sick, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I was very pleased to be back on the ground.
At least you've managed to keep your lunch down though, Chris. But if you get travel sick, you can stop your brain getting confused. Don't look down and try looking out of the window at a fixed spot on the horizon. This will mean your eyes and ears are sending the same messages to your brain and you shouldn't feel sick.